What's going on, dudes and dudettes? No, it's been a while, but finally had some time to make this video real quick. So, USC football, they got a commitment from an offensive lineman in Casey Collier. He's a 3-star guy, maybe a 4-star, depending where you look at it, but he's already 6'7", almost 300 pounds for an offensive lineman. Is pretty crazy. So, glad to at least have him on our side, especially for being a Texas guy. But then also found out that they're going to keep Coach Clay Helton, which is upsetting a lot of USC fans. To me, I said you might as well just let him stick it out one more year, see what he can do, because you're going to have to pay him $20+ million if you end up firing him. So yeah, the athletic director came out and showed some support for him. So did the President Carol Folt. She also gave support for Mike Baum in making that decision to retain him. But in other coaching news for USC, because it seems like they're going to have to make some changes. Maybe that was the case for him to be able to stay another year, was if he changed defensive coordinator. But as of right now, the offensive coordinator, Graham Harrell, who's only been there for one season, is already getting some head coaching opportunity interviews right at the moment, which sucks because a lot of these guys that signed are going to be in this offense because they want to score a lot. But hopefully they'll just get another guy who can teach something similar and be able to keep a lot of these guys that are on the team. But USC basketball, so they had some success this last week as well. They beat Fairfield 54-47. Which is kind of surprising because they should have killed this team, but of course they didn't. And I think it was the first game of some type of Orlando Invitational, something like that, some type of tournament they were involved in. So they weren't off to a great start, and I think they lost the next game to Marquette, who's a pretty good team and has this guy Howard who could have went in the NBA draft last year, but decided to go back to college, and I think he's still going to be a pretty good player once he gets to the NBA. But their third place game that they were going to get, they played Harvard, which is a pretty solid team. They usually get a win to go into the NCAA tournament to represent the Ivy League. So it was a good opportunity for USC to show their dominance against them and finish third place in that invitational. But still, they need to strive for something better and finish in the top 2 at least in those type of tournaments. Then just some very little bit of Chargers news, because there's really no wins or nothing good to report on the Chargers right now. But in a surprising move, they were supposed to play the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football this weekend, but they were actually flexed because of how bad they are. And if you don't know what that means, they basically got traded out for a better matchup or better game, because nobody wants to see the Chargers late as the only game playing at that time. So they were moved to an earlier time, which is obviously crazy. That just shows how bad you really suck. But they did make some practice squad moves. So they signed a wide receiver in Tyrone Johnson and a defensive tackle in PJ Johnson. Don't know if they're brothers, but yeah, we'll see what they can do. Maybe they'll end up playing later, see how bad the Chargers suck towards the end of the season. But when it comes to mock drafts, a couple different guys are being projected to go to the Chargers at the number 10 pick, which is pretty crazy how they're still picking number 10, even though they only have 4 wins on the season. But that just shows how bad the other teams are in the NFL as well. But one guy was Tua Tagovailoa, the pretty much star of Alabama, the quarterback, but injury history. He's probably not going to start even practicing until after March, which is pretty close to when the NBA or NFL draft is. So you're going to be really taking a chance on him and letting him sit out for almost a year or two, maybe, just to be able to get 100% healthy. Then you don't know if he's going to stay healthy after that. So it's pretty tough to trust a guy like that. But they also named a guy who I kind of like in Isaiah Simmons. He's a linebacker from Clemson, but he used to play safety, so he's one of those hybrid guys who could play either or and plays up close to the line of scrimmage as well because he's strong enough to. I mean, imagine pairing him with Derwin James and Bosa and Ingram down there. I mean, that'd be pretty unstoppable defense, but you'd still have problems on the offense unless they sign some good enough players, but we'll just have to wait and see if they're willing to spend the money on those guys. Then some pretty good Anaheim Ducks news. So they beat the LA Kings 4-2 the other day. So the battle for Southern California, they at least got that first win, and there was a nice save from the other win that they have also that I put up there. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see. Hopefully they could get on a little bit of a win streak, as we all hope for. Then Michael B. Jordan, of all people, which is pretty cool because he's an actor that I really like. He was in a meeting with Warner Brothers about potentially being the next Superman, but apparently it's kind of at a standstill, and there hasn't been many talks because he wants to do and finish other projects, and he's just too busy to commit to a multi-picture deal for someone like Superman. But I would still like Henry Cavill to come back for at least a couple more. I just don't know what Warner Brothers is doing with Superman. It's pretty sad, but yeah, all we can hope for is the best for that. So on to some Duke basketball news. So Cam Reddish, I believe this is a career high in the NBA so far. He had 25 points for the Atlanta Hawks. Looking at those highlights right there, so glad he was able to get some playing time. Hopefully he can continue to get some playing time as well after this. Then they also beat Winthrop after their surprising loss last week to Stephen F. Austin I talked to you guys about. They beat Winthrop 83-70, which is good, but they also did lose one of their star freshman players, Cassius Stanley, to a hamstring injury, and it looks like he's probably going to be out to a little bit after Christmas, so around a 3 to 4 week time span since it happened, which sucks, especially going into their next game, the matchup, which was against number 11 Michigan State. But I'll get into that real quick. But yeah, it's tough to lose a guy like that. He was showing how well he could do defensively and scoring the ball as well, even for a freshman. So hopefully he can return sooner than later. But on to that Michigan State game. So that game passed as well, and it was a game I was really worried about just because Michigan State, they knocked us out of the tournament last year to go to the Final Four, which it shouldn't have counted, but yes, questionable refereeing there. But Duke did beat them 87-75, so a pretty controlling win throughout the whole entire game. Glad to see, especially when they're down one player. Hopefully these upperclassmen can step up for Duke and the freshmen as well, continue and see what they can do. But yeah, a lot of these teams play again tonight, like the Ducks, Duke, Lakers, I believe USC basketball. So that's why I want to get this video in now, so then I could do another video at some point, maybe like Sunday or Monday. But yeah, it's just I want to get all this information down now, because if not, this video would be like 30-40 minutes long probably. But onto some Lakers news. So of course, The Jump, which is a show on ESPN, they were putting out the question, is Kyle Kuzma a good fit for the Lakers? And of course, this just happens a week after I proposed, or after the past couple weeks I've been proposing that they would trade the player Kyle Kuzma for somebody else to do another type of big three. And of course, ESPN has to steal my story and not give me credit, but it's okay, it's all good. So the Lakers went on a pretty good win streak. Hopefully I'm talking enough here to be able to put the highlights up. But last week, I think it was Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, they did beat the Washington Wizards, which was good. The team that scores a lot of points, but they held them to 103 at home, which is cool. And Anthony Davis had 26 points, which is good to see. And yeah, but what sucked, I think they played that following Sunday, and lost to Dallas. But Luka Doncic has just been pretty awesome. That's why I wanted to draft him in my fantasy basketball thing, but of course I forgot when that crap was. But yes, like I said, hopefully I'm talking enough for these highlights to show. So on to the next one. So they had a big time matchup on this last Tuesday against the Denver Nuggets, who is like basically top 2 or 3 in the West as well, along with the Lakers. So it's gonna show who's the more dominant as of right now, and obviously it was the Lakers because they beat Denver 105-96. keeping a team like that, especially on the road at Denver, under 100 points is a big win for the Lakers, I think. And it kind of put them in sole possession of first place in the West, which is always cool to see, because the last 5 years, I don't think you could say that at all about the Lakers. I mean, the first part of last year, yeah, until LeBron got injured, they were like top 4, but still we haven't seen anything close to that. So I'm happy with anything right now that's top 3 or 4, anything like that for the Lakers. But they did have another game the very next day, so it was a back-to-back on the road, and they played the Jazz, which is another pretty good, solid top 5 Western Conference team, but they are kind of struggling at the moment. So luckily the Lakers got them right now, and they did beat the Utah Jazz 121-96. So another pretty good, solid Western team that they held under 100 points on the road at their place, which I'm very happy about. And it was also their 19th win of the season already, which is freaking crazy. So I think they're like 19-3 right now in the first like 20 some odd games going into Christmas around here, where they'll replay the Clippers again. So it's just awesome. Like I said, I'll take any wins. I remember when it was like around this time, like 18 to 22 wins they were averaging for like 3 years, and I can't believe they've already reached that mark. But I'm not really surprised at all, especially when you have 2 top 5 players in LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and a lot of good solid veterans around them. That's why I always say, you know, imagine what Boogie Cousins could have done, DeMarcus Cousins, instead of Dwight Howard. And of course they're asking that same question on the Lakers feed on Bleacher Report, but I've been saying that ever since, you know, the first couple of games, how Dwight Howard's been showing. But yes, hopefully we can continue to have some success with all these teams. And yes, like I said, they all have a crazy busy slate today and over this weekend, so hopefully be able to get another video in Sunday or Monday. But yeah, like I said, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks.